Harry Clarke, what a player. Should Charlton sign him permanently in the summer? Right, let's get to it. Welcome back to Where the Addicks Talk with myself, Luke, and today we've got Alan, Platty, and Steve talking all things Charlton. Let's talk about the Stoke game to start with. Then we'll get into the players, Steve. I think it's been a brilliant result. Well, great big 3 points against Stoke, who are having a good season.
Yeah, it was. I was a little surprised. I mean, on the last time we spoke, I was expecting a better performance from Stoke, to be honest. And I'll be honest, the game wasn't one that you write home about massively. There was a lot of, for a big portion of it, I was worried we were setting up a bit like an away team. We were standing off them a fair bit, and they were having a lot of possession. But we held strong. We did a decent job on them, and they were getting frustrated. We had some good chances. They had some good chances. But in the end, we snuck it with a nice 1-0 victory, and TC scored a pretty good goal, in fairness, once he came on and he made the difference. So, really happy to walk away with 3 points, and it just gives us a little bit of extra breathing ground between us and the teams below.
Definitely. We had a little chat in the group chat, didn't we, Al? That TC's come under his criticism, etc. But he came up trumps in that game, didn't he?
Yeah, in the last game against QPR, he'd come on and didn't have an impact. And obviously Nathan did say he's basically had a rollicking, and he came on and made an impact this time. But obviously he's putting him in a more advanced forward area. He come on, placed Godden, and he was basically up front. And you can see what he can do. I know people have to say it's frustrating. If you do play him up there, sometimes he's a bit inconsistent. But I can only judge him on what he does going up the top end of the pitch. I can't, when he's stuck at left wing back against Wrexham away, I can't really judge him, mate. He's not his position. He's asked to do a job. And basically, long and short of it, as you know, if you've seen his interviews, he's a very quiet person, very shy. And if Nathan Jones asked him to go, he'd probably politely say, yeah, we'll do that, just pursue the job. So it's just him as a person. But no, he's even going through, obviously, I'm sitting behind the goal, and I thought his touch was a bit naughty, I ain't gonna lie. And he went round a goal, and I thought, I can see him going over here. But somehow he managed to stay on his feet and getting it in the goal. But no, pleased for him, because he has come on the last couple of weeks and been a little bit better, I must admit. Yeah.
Like, that was a really good point. He's definitely a team player, isn't he? He would play in any position, being stuck out left wing back isn't his position, is it? TC is definitely. He's got all the attacking attributes. It might do him good going forward in the future, having the experience of playing left back, etc. But he's definitely better in them forward positions, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, his game at Ipswich, when he came on with Leeburn, he was unplayable, really. He made such a difference. And when he came on this week, I thought he was good. He nearly fluffed the chance, came off the shin and then put it away. But he put it away well. I get frustrated when he does play wing back because, I guess fairness to the lad, he doesn't necessarily know what the positions he's going to be in. And possibly, arguably, it's right that, he shouldn't take that criticism when he is left wing back. But no, he did a job. He looked threatening when he came on, which he didn't the previous game. When he came on, he really didn't look to be... he looked out of sorts. So perhaps he just needs to have time, and when he comes on a sub, he can be an absolute weapon, particularly if the defence is tiring, and he can be very direct. So I was pleased with what we saw. And Wednesday night, as was said, it wasn't probably the best of games, but what we did, we created chances, and whilst they had 65% possession, they didn't do a lot with it. Most of it was in their own half, and so yeah, it was one of those games though. Probably round about November, December, they would probably sneak one in the last 5 minutes, but fortunately they didn't, and 3 points was very important.
Definitely. Harry Clarke got man of the match. Obviously mentioned him at the start of the show, Steve. He's come into the club and hit the ground running, isn't he? He's really filled that gap at full-back. Do you think he's a player that Charlton have needed for a little while? And would you like to sign him in the summer? He's a player that really does play with his heart on his sleeve and really works hard, doesn't he?
He does. He's as a step up on what I mean. Previously, we had James Bree at the start of the season, who started really well, and then kind of tailed off, in my opinion. And I think Clarke's a bit of an upgrade on that. He's come in. He's what I loved in the first time I saw him live was that he was on one side of the pitch, the ball's on the other, and he is screaming for the ball, and he is getting frustrated when his teammates aren't spraying the pass out, and instead of doing like 2 or 3 passes to get the ball across the pitch. He's used to being with players who can get the ball to him quicker, faster, and up, and he's teaching those around him how to play a better brand of football. And I don't think it's any coincidence that we are starting to be a bit more solid at the back when he and some of the other new lads have come in and they've added a layer of solid defending that was so lacking in the Christmas months and probably from November onwards when we've had the injuries. But if we could sneak him in at the end of the year, I don't know what his situation is in terms of contracts at Ipswich, but I think we'd be foolish not to look at him, even if it's for a little bit of money. I think we should be looking at a player that is clearly showing that he can do it in the Championship. If he can keep his fitness all the way through for the rest of the season as well, because there was a little question mark on that when he first joined. If he can keep that going for the rest of the season, I don't see why we wouldn't look at him. And it will be a definite strengthening addition going into the new season, so long as, all being well, we're still in the Championship, which at this point in time, I can't see how we're not going to be.
Yeah, definitely. He's a player that sort of bounced around. He's not quite found his home. He's a local lad to Ipswich. He went out to Arsenal actually as a kid, came back to Ipswich, and he started in the Championship with the 23-24 season, and then he hasn't really been able to get into the team. Sent out on loan, I think Sheffield United last year. He's a player looking for a home, and I think it would work really well, don't you think, Alan? I think Charlton need a player like Clarke. Clarke needs a team like Charlton to really take him in and make him a mainstay in the team. Would you like to see him sign in the summer?
Oh, 100%. Sorry, I don't know what the situation is, but you're not having him back as far as I'm concerned. If we're in the Championship, we're having him. So yeah, definitely, 100%, mate. He's like I said, like Steve said, I watched in that first game, and obviously we were low on confidence, and he was screaming for the ball, and it's like, why are we taking the extra touch? He's used to players that basically get a ball, bang, bing, ping. It's things we're now starting to do that a little bit more, obviously, because we've got a bit more confidence. But yeah, it's raising the standards. And like Steve said, he's always constantly getting forward, always looking to get that first crossing, first time, which for obviously someone like Addicks and Leeburn, that's what they want, isn't it? First time balls, get in the box as quick as you can. Yeah,
definitely. Raising standards, I think that's been some real key signings, Conor Coady said. There's been real key signings to really raise the expectations and standards within the group. Another player that's done well though, he's a young lad, Chambers, on the other side, the other wing back position. He's been brilliant as well. If I could offer you both, Platty, right now, Chambers or Clarke, who would you choose?
Oh, I guess the club will weigh it up probably from a monetary benefit. I think it's a very fine line. What's Clarke, 23, 24?
A little bit older, I think.
Older.
It's a bit older. I would probably say then probably Chambers. The big question mark possibly over both of them and is around long-term fitness. Chambers has had problems with his back on a couple of occasions, but he hadn't played, I think, since March 25, hadn't started a senior game until he started for us 3 games ago. And it's hard to believe that, really, because he has performed, and it was great on Wednesday night to see that he actually had a full game, and he did really well again. And, you know, his crossing's excellent, he's good defensively, but so's Clarke. So I think, who would I sign? I personally, because of his younger age, and I think more potential, arguably, for doing more with us and perhaps making money, is Chambers, but equally, Clarke has really stood out. So it does boil down for me for fitness, because all 4 signings that we made, Coady, Addicks and those 2 guys, had question marks over fitness because they hadn't really played a great deal this season. So I would probably, of the 2, go Chambers if you can only have one, but equally Clarke, I wouldn't be adverse to having him. And it probably all comes down to fitness first, budget second, and hopefully both, for their own sake, stay fit. And therefore, if we can get both, I think it'd be really good. I think Clarke's got, there's an option on him, but if Ipswich get promoted, you'd anticipate that they would probably release him. I would think, on the basis he doesn't fit in their mould for the Championship.
Yeah. What do you think, Steve? It is a question. Is it Chambers hasn't got much experience really at any real top flight level? Clarke has. He's got experience in the Championship and obviously a little bit in the Premier League as well. What player would you have if you could only have one?
I'd go opposite to what Platty's saying. I'd go for Clarke, I'm afraid. So my reason would be, I would look at it like this. I'd think if once Edwards is back fit, is Chambers going to play in front of Edwards? No, I don't think he is. If Clarke's available and you look at the rest of that back line, is Clarke going to play in our strongest starting 11? Yes, I think he is. I think he is going to be making a difference. I want to see players at Charlton this season and looking forward for next season that are going to be there to step us up to the next level. From me, I don't care about the balance books. I don't care about how much money we can make off a player. I want to see players playing for Charlton that take us up to the next level. And if that's pushing us towards the playoffs, then I think a player like Clarke is going to do it more over a 46-game season than Chambers, who's a young lad. He's going to make mistakes, and we would have to accept that. And those mistakes may cost us in over a full season. He's doing a great job at the minute. Don't get me wrong, but Clarke's the man for me. I would take Clarke all day long.
Yeah. Interesting. I could see Ramsey playing left wing back, and then the Kenyan Maradona stepping in for Ramsey in the back three. And so that you could look at it from that way. I think Ramsey, he can play left wing back, but yeah, it is quite fortunate because our defensive, as it sits at this moment, and it certainly wasn't the case 4 games ago, our defence looks so solid with Amari Bell in there. I mean, Amari Bell, Luton fans said he was rubbish. Good luck to you. Well, he actually looks absolute class at the moment. And some of the things he did on Wednesday night, he looked very, very strong. And alongside Jones, who is the epitome of a rock in the Championship, Ramsey has been great in the past. A little bit dicky at times on Wednesday, but generally solid. The 3 of them and those 2 wing-backs make it a really strong back 3/5, depending whether you're offensive or defensive.
I mean, Clarke, I think he's could play right back, play right wing back. He could play right side the back 3, and you could chuck him in at left back or left wing back if you have to. So yeah, Clarke for me. And Chambers, as I say, he can only play left wing back or left back as far as I can see. So yeah, Clarke.
Yeah, very good. It's nice to have these players playing well, isn't it? Charlton are in a certain position in the table at the moment where you come into this sort of stage of the season where you could be looking up the table or you could be looking down the table. So what I want to know from yourself, we'll start Platty, from yourself, mate. So it's half time. It's half time at the Valley. You're on BBC Sport. You're looking at the fixtures. You're looking at what the results are saying at half time. Are you looking at the top end of the table to see the scores first, or are you looking at the bottom end of the table? What are you more concerned with? I'm
looking at the bottom end, and that's purely because the realism of me said if we survive this year, that would be a great season, and then we start to build on it. And, perhaps we're talking about Clarke, Chambers, perhaps that's the start of our building. I want to see what the likes of Blackburn, Pompey, Leicester, Oxford are doing, because if it means that we cement our position in the Championship, that's key for me. We could possibly scrape into playoffs. That's a big possibility. That's a big maybe rather than possibility. There's a lot of clubs above. But I think if we can continue our recent form, 3 goalless games defensively, if we can keep that and stay in the Championship, then that'll be a job well done, I think, for the squad and Nathan Jones. If we did get into the playoffs, it'd be a bit of fun, wouldn't it? Would I want to see us go up? I don't think I would this year. Absolutely not. People are saying, you want to see Premier? Yeah, I probably would. Would I want to see us battered for 22 games at home? Not so sure. Everyone wants to see Premiership, but if we go up, we come down, I'd lay money on it. So I'd rather consolidate, and therefore I'm looking at, let's see where we are. Let's see what's going on below us and hold our position in the Championship.
When you accidentally said big opportunity to get playoffs, Alan nearly fell off his chair.
If we did get playoffs, great, but I wouldn't want to go up. I really wouldn't.
Off the table as well, Al.
Sorry?
Are you looking at the bottom half of the table as well when the results are coming through?
Yeah, I was looking at Saturday and I saw Blackburn, obviously new manager syndrome, get a freaking 3-1 at QPR, and you think, God's sake. And then obviously the Sheffield United got a last minute up against Pompey, and you're thinking, fantastic. So it's this time of the year now, you start supporting teams that next week you freaking hate them, and the next week after you're thinking, come on. So, yeah, no, definitely. As I said, if we could finish a couple of games to go into the season, we can have a nice game at home to say thanks for the players, and then go to Swansea, like I said, last game of the season, and all being our Hawaiian shirts, chucking beach balls around, that'd be fantastic, won't it? That's what I want to see. Yeah,
very nice. Like you say, it's business end of the season now, so we shall see. Next game is Pompey, Steve. It's one of them teams that are down there. What are you expecting from the game, mate? And what's your score predictions?
Yeah, so this is obviously the one that's rescheduled from the game that was postponed a couple of months back due to the unfortunate incident in the crowd, which we all know about. I think going into this now, we're on good form, and we, as we said probably back then as well, we usually do well against Portsmouth, either home or away. So we have a pretty decent record against them. So I'm optimistic that we can carry that form on. We're not free scoring loads of goals at all at the minute, but I think we could probably sneak a 1-0 or even a 2-0 in this one. I think we've got all the potential to keep that momentum going. We've got 7 points from our last 9. We need to make sure that we're stretching that gap between us and Portsmouth, and if we do, we are going to be looking a little higher up the table than we currently are at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Then it's Saints, another South Coast team. You're up against, Alan. What were you expecting from that game? You expecting that to be the tougher of the? What's your score predictions for that one, mate?
Right, we give a better account of ourselves last time. Obviously, I hope we don't go and press them on their fingers about it. But yeah, they're a bit inconsistent at the moment, aren't they? If it's Southampton, they're 3-0 down and then going and win 4-3 and stuff like that. So look, if we could just be defensively solid and give us 3 or 4 corners and try and get something, because if we can get something at Southampton and beat Portsmouth, then that's brilliant, isn't it? So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going down there myself from Southampton away, so looking forward to that. Been to Portsmouth, I think, about 10 times in a row, I think, but never been to Southampton ground for some strange reason. Never had an opportunity, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, brilliant, mate. Right, next is the Platty P feature. So, Platty, what is your peeves for this week?
Oh, yeah. I think people will probably say I'm a miserable git for this, given our performances. But even in the last 3 games, I have got really frustrated around 65, 70 minutes when we're still not putting subs on. And I think it became quite acute this week. The midfield was really looking tired, and it was just really asking for Coventry to come on sooner than he did, and then perhaps a JRC to come on. Midfield was really looking quite tired. He brought Tyrese Campbell on, and then subsequently Coventry. I think they were the only 2 subs. Let me think.
He tried to get the Kenyan on, didn't he? But teased him on the side of the lines, then didn't bring him on. They got him full kit when he on the side of the pitch, and then
yeah, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. But we were looking pretty tired. Carey was looking tired. Doc was looking tired.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know, there's something about that decision making that Nathan just doesn't want to do sometimes. And perhaps he feels, if we change it, then, we're holding it fine. Perhaps he doesn't see what perhaps I saw, other fans definitely saw on social media. We were tiring, particularly in midfield. I do get a bit peeved about that, and it happens regularly, and it's not just the last 3 games. It has happened during the season when you just feel we need to step up, and just a bit of a change around with perhaps bringing Kelman on, giving a bit more legs. I know that he took Godden off and brought TC on fine. I don't know. It's he obviously sees it slightly differently, but where I sit, we all get quite frustrated. Come on, we need another couple of subs just to step it up. And particularly earlier in the season, he was talking about game changers all the time. And he was saying that, bring the game changers on and they make a difference. And they did in our early run. Perhaps because of the way defensively we're set up now, he doesn't want to rock the boat. And But Cody looked a bit tired, but perhaps you sort of think, well, I thought he would take Cody off, but he didn't.
Yeah,
QPR game and Coke. What is it? Tony Carey. He's proper blowing. You're like you say, Platty. Just chuck JRC on, chuck Coventry on. You just don't know. You know that 1-0 because the tired legs can turn it to 2-0. But I don't know. Just keeps the same players on, doesn't he?
I mean, if we hadn't have got the points on Tuesday, then everyone would have been up in arms. But we did, and Nathan will go, I did the right thing. And arguably, he did. But I do sit there often and go, wow, come on, which I wasn't doing sort of September, October time, early October, when he was making those changes. So I don't know whether he is set in his ways, and we've seen that. You know, he likes his 5 at the back, and but hey, you know, at the moment we're on we're en route to be staying in the Championship, which is where we want to be this year.
Very good points. Very good points. Right, Steve, please take our next fixture away. So we're on to the A to Z, and you've got the letter P. What is the letter P for the Addicks?
So this is quite a healthy letter in terms of Addicks. We'll give an honorary mention to our own Platty, obviously. So in the comments below, you can put your own, if he's a good, the bad, or the ugly. That's up to you guys.
We ain't seen his sister yet.
But we're doing this in reverse order. Some of the ugly ones that we've had. So looking at back to the Ian Dowie days, we had an Uruguayan player, Omar Puso, who joined simply on the back of scoring a long-range goal against England, which Dowie admitted he'd never seen the player play before, and then he turns up on loan. He plays one game. He was clearly useless, and then we shipped him back to Uruguay. And the other one in the ugly section will be everyone's favourite Polish Pete, who again turned up in the Chris Powell days. He had no idea who this bloke was turning up at the training ground that Duchatelets had shipped in. He played about 15 minutes, if that, coming off the bench, and then we never saw him again. He was another player who was playing way above his ability level. Some of the bad, maybe a bit harsh in one of them, but Dan Potts, who we had last season, only a few games, struggled with the injuries and never really got to see anything from him. But and Bradley Pritchard always struggled a little bit. He was in a team that got promoted from League One back under Chris Powell, but he was never one of the main starters. He always he was there or thereabouts, but he was not quite at the same ability as his club mates. But still got about 89 appearances out of him. He scored 4 goals for us over a couple of seasons. So he wasn't awful, but some of the good players, we've had some great players in P. Colin Paddy Powell, taking it back a bit, 358 games, 35 goals, was also our groundsman for many years at the Valley, and the most outfield appearances as well, and one of our club ambassadors, certain Keith Peacock, 591 games that he played for us. Absolutely, this is a bit before my time, but he, in the videos I've seen, he was a very skillful attacking midfield player that scored 107 goals. He's also, bit of trivia, he's the first ever player to appear as a substitute in English League football. So we've got that to his name. One that might get me a bit of grief, but I loved him while he was here, and then he left under a hell of a cloud, was Scotty Parker. You can't deny what a player he was for us, and for me it was a turning point when we started to drop down the pedestal once he left us for Chelsea under those circumstances. But he was such a box-to-box midfielder, and he was probably one of the best, if not the best midfielder I've seen at the club in his time.
I agree, Steve. He was. Can I just interject there? He was. He was the original McDonald's boy, wasn't he? On the McDonald's advert, where they used to knock around the McDonald's bag, and I think he was only about 11 at that time, but he was the McDonald's in one of the first original McDonald's adverts.
Yeah, absolutely right. And then I think it would be remiss to mention any P for Charlton without mentioning Sir Chris Powell himself. 3 spells at the club as a player, 270 appearances, scoring 3 goals, one memorable one on the last day of one of his spells against Coventry, where he came on as a substitute. He got stuck up front just for a laugh, it felt like, on the last day. He managed to bag a goal, and then he was lofted high by his teammates which we thought might be his last ever time we're seeing him in a Charlton shirt. We got to see him again as a manager anyway. So 3 spells, 3 spectacular spells of the player, spectacular spell as well as a manager with the club, getting us promoted, taking us up with record points total. All round nice guy, all round top bloke. England international while at Charlton as well. And yeah, he's one of those players that no matter when and where he goes, he's always so fondly looked at by everyone associated with Charlton.
Yeah, Chris.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Very well said. Finishing on tweet of the week for today's show, and it is a player, Kane Ramsey, and he tweets 3rd clean sheet in a row, 3 points, proper performance from the boys. What I want to take from that tweet, Alan, is 3 clean sheets in a row. That is the staple, isn't it? If you're looking to really shore up a team, focus on the clean sheets, and then the goals will come. Do you feel like, I think we touched on it earlier, but do you really feel like the new signings has been the reason and the catalyst to why there's been a few clean sheets of late?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, no one saw Connor Cody coming into that midfield, and he's starting turning out to be Connor Rodri Cody. I'm going to start calling him because it's just literally, I admit he hasn't got no pace. I saw him run something back where we lost the ball. I think Ramsey lost the ball. We tried to get back, but you don't have to. He's got that self-awareness that, like I said in the first game against Ipswich, what was it, Leicester, where Leeburn goal, he had that initiative. Just get a header in, got the ball up to Leeburn and things. But he's in that holding midfield, always chatting, always talking. But the whole, as I said, all the new signings, fair play to the ownership. They have come out and, backed us. And ever since we've now put in round pegs and round holes and not wingers at left wing back and God knows what else, then we are where Nathan Jones sort of wants us to be. I know he keeps saying we've got, get that extra bit of quality. I know we've been linked with Mikel Antonio. I'd like to see if that comes off this week because, again, as much as Matty Godden and Dykes and things, there are tries and stuff, we are going up a level. And for us we need to start killing games off all the time. It is 0-0 and 1-0 against Stoke. We're getting a goal. It could easily come 1-1 when we're just dropping points. We need to get another goal, make it 2-0. And if Mikel Antonio can come off the bench or start games and get us a couple of goals up front, then brilliant. Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see whether there's truth in the Antonio rumours and whether that comes to.
I like to see it.
As always, and thank you everybody for watching at home. Please like and subscribe, and please get involved in the comments below, talking all things Charlton.